Welcome back to the Get Josette Show. It is a lovely, blistering cold 18 degrees here in Milford, Massachusetts, and I'm so excited about this next segment. I am interviewing, finally, the CEO and founder of Fooducate, Hemi Weingarten. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you're from. Where are you calling from?
Good morning. It's 50 degrees in the Bay Area in California and raining.
Oh, geez. You know what? I would take that any day of the week. Here in Massachusetts, yes, we just had a horrible storm. Yes, we've had a long winter here and more to come. But I am so excited. I was just telling Ray off the air that I feel like I'm, speaking to Mickey and, growing up about Disney World and all the dreams. And I've been talking about Fooducate for years. On the air, we've been talking about it, getting people hooked on it. I'm getting all of my clients hooked on it. I think it's such a great educational tool, and so I thank you so much for coming on the air. And I would love for our listeners to hear your background, first of all.
Sure. So, it's a lot of companies start with a story that has a personal angle, and Fooducate is no different. I'm a father of 3 young children. There was a point when we had 3 kids in diapers, and
oh dear.
When they were toddlers, and this is about 5-6 years ago, we came home one day from the supermarket, and my wife showed me a glow-in-the-dark yogurt that she'd picked up for the kids. It was one of those cartoon character yogurts. I won't disclose the name,
yes.
But it said very healthy, calcium, blah, 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 all the things as a parent you want to see. We said, yeah, that looks cool. But when I poured that yogurt into their bowls, into their little plastic bowls, it was so bright that I said, I need to see what's on the back. What is it made of? And I did something I'd never done before, which is read the nutrition panel. And I saw in the ingredient lists, one of the ingredients there was called red number 40. Now, I had expected to see milk, sugar, strawberries, not red number 40. So being a curious guy, I Googled it, and I learned that this is a derivative of the petroleum industry, and it's a synthetic color that makes food very, very bright, and kids love it. Unfortunately, there are potential side effects, including cancer and hyperactivity. In fact, in Europe, this is a food coloring that is banned. In the UK, which is part of Europe, it's not banned, but it requires a warning label that says may cause hyperactivity in kids. And I said to myself, why is the U.S. allowing this stuff into my kids' food when Europe is saying no?
Yeah.
And this kind of started a search for me, or a learning, or a journey, if you will, trying to understand the modern food system. And I realized that I didn't like the answers. And that was the birth of Fooducate.
Now, what is your background? Because a lot of our generation has grown up thinking that these are okay. We have trusted our government. We have trusted the FDA to not poison our food supply. We would never question it. And so, what's your background? Do you have a background in nutrition or anything like that?
No, actually, I don't. I'm an entrepreneur in the technology space. I studied computers and have a business degree. And at the time that this happened, I had just sold the yogurt incident happened. I had just sold my first company, and I was living a nice, comfortable corporate life, not too hectic and not too busy. So I had time to think about what I wanted to do next. And I was one of those millions of people that were clueless and said, if it's in the stores, it must be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the research I did, reading books like Fast Food Nation and the books by Michael Pollan, the Omnivore's Dilemma,
yes.
and a book by Marion Nessel, who's a nutrition professor, called What to Eat,
yeah,
kind
she's
of opened
great.
my eyes up to the corporate interests that have infiltrated politics and led to decisions that one could question where the loyalty of Congress is. Is it really with consumers or with corporations? And don't get me wrong, I'm a capitalist, I believe in free markets, but I think in some cases our regulators forgot who they're working for. And I think the end result is that we've gotten a food industry that is rife with decisions that are not necessarily in the best interest of my kids. And I think there's definitely room for private organizations on top of government organizations to help inform and protect individuals. And my goal with Fooducate is to make sure that my kids grow up eating healthy and safe food. And hopefully we're achieving that with at least some with my kids for sure, but hopefully some other people's kids too.
Oh, I totally believe it. I mean, what you've created here is such an awesome learning tool, and not just for, you know, finding artificial things that normally these food companies wouldn't display on their boxes, right? So they're the deceit, but also even marketing tools that we fall for, such as the quote-unquote natural foods. And because the FDA doesn't regulate what is defined as a natural food, a lot of people really think it, you know, it's equal to being healthy or organic when it really isn't.
Exactly.
And so I think that the tool is awesome. I always feel like, you know, you're the detective and in our supermarket. And I let me tell you, that gadget, the first few times I spent hours just scanning everything. And some of my clients said, my gosh, I spend so much time. And I go, trust me, once you get to know what foods, you should stay away from it. You're not going to spend endless hours. But it is a great tool to just, you know, first just open up your pantry and scan everything in your pantry and take it from there and find something to replace a healthier version with. Now, I've seen that lately. Now you even changed the app for allergies, which is great because so many people with allergies, and I believe it comes back to gut health. But what a great tool. It's helped me. I have 4 children, 2 who are ADHD, 1 who's bipolar, and 1 who has a ton of allergies. And this has helped me tremendously to avoid certain foods. And I can't tell you how much it's improved their health. Amazing. It really is.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yes, and then
maybe we should just mention for the listeners who are not familiar with Fooducate, we have an app called Fooducate, which you can download for free on both the iPhone and Android markets.
Yes.
And the app itself is a very simple tool. Some people call it a dietitian in your pocket. Basically, it uses the smartphone camera to scan the barcode of a product in the supermarket or in your pantry, and it instantly shows you a nutrition dashboard with information that you need to make a decision if you want to buy the product or not. It shows a letter grade, A, B, C, or D. It shows a few brief bullet point headlines about the product, why it got that grade, and it shows you healthier alternatives. And so let's say you're scanning a cereal and it gets a C+, you'll read that it has 3 teaspoons of sugar and maybe a controversial additive called BHT. You'll tap on the alternatives button and you'll see a cereal that gets a D or maybe another one that gets a B+. We show 10 alternatives each time, and hopefully out of one of those, you'll find an alternative out of those 10 that suits your needs. And so what you mentioned with the allergies is a feature that we added about a year and a half ago, which lets you filter out and basically warns you if a product has one of the 8 allergens, one of the 8 major allergens. And the most popular allergen, it's not exactly an allergy, is gluten. A lot of people now are staying away from gluten, even if they don't have celiac disease, but they're saying that it's improved their gut health and helped them lose weight.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we have a game here every week on the show, and Ray, my producer, he always brings the food, and we Fooducate scan it, and on the air, and oh yes, it happens every week, and it's like a little game here, and we talk about all the ingredients and what are the red flags, and then what are the healthier alternatives, because I'm helping my producer here get on a healthier track, and so he loves the app. So every week he brings something in and we scan something new, and it's the kids love it, and it's such a great educational tool, and all ages, everybody can learn from it, which is wonderful. And then I also saw you just added the health tracker. Could you tell me more about that?
Yeah.
Could you tell me more about your health tracker?
Yeah. So the health tracker is something that, again, it came out of our users, people like you and Ray, that were emailing us and telling us, hey, I've started to lose weight by eating healthy food, and it would be great if within your app I could also track what I eat, because I'm using a separate app for that today. And we said, we really didn't think about that when we started out, but it turns out there's an intrinsic tie between eating healthy and losing weight for a majority of our users. And by the way, these are the top two resolutions on the new year. I want to lose weight and eat healthy. So due to popular demand, we decided to add this health tracker.
Mm-hmm.
The idea here is that we, unlike other trackers which are basically calorie counters and focus only on the nutrition facts panel, we want people to track. Obviously, we want to track calories. We're not saying that calories aren't important, but we also want them to track the quality of the calories. Okay?
Amen. Amen. I'm a true believer of that.
I think a lot of people don't realize that it's not just about the 100-calorie packs and, starving yourself. It's about figuring out, if you're going down from a 2,500-calorie diet to a 1,700-calorie diet, it's not enough just to subtract 800 calories. You have to figure out, you have to make each and one of those 1,700 calories really count for you and work for you. And it turns out that it's usually the higher-graded foods that do that for you and not the processed and lower-graded foods. So we always show you at the end of your day the letter grade average for that day. And we want you to stay as high as possible. We want the majority of your calories to be in the A or B range, because if they're in the lower range, that means that they're empty calories. They're not going to provide you the sustenance you need.
Absolutely. I agree 1,000%. I always tell clients, especially as we get older and the struggles of, attaining better weight, and I go, it's not really about that number on the scale. You should really be focused more on the quality of your calories, and everything else will fall into place when you really do, start trusting into the journey of the quality of calories and nourishing your body, and not so much on the, like you said earlier, the 100-calorie packs here and there, and because at the end of the day, it's truly about the overall health and teaching that to our children. And I think this generation more than ever is facing a bigger challenge because of how we are bombarded and poisoned in our food supply. It's sad, but I question every new food that comes out there, and I have to look at it and reread it, and it's scary. It's a scary time because I don't feel like we have our government looking out for us.
Yeah, I think the government is looking for us 90%, but we have to go the extra 10%. If you compare the situation today to what it was 50 years ago, when there was no labels at all, you couldn't even decide if a product was healthy for you or not, because there wasn't any labeling, or there was no unified way to label. So I think there has been progress, but you're right. At the end of the day, no one will worry. We'll take care of our kids as well as we can, and if there are tools that we can use, so much better. I think another issue with the world we live in today is that things are always taken to an extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Both, in restaurants, you have big portions because it's so cheap.
Yes.
Why not give a person the feeling that they're getting their money's worth? And you also see that when it comes to dieting. So somebody that's decided to take their body in control and they want to lose weight, they now feel that they need to lose a ton of weight really quickly, and part of it is due to the shows like The Biggest Loser,
which
I think has done more harm than good for dieters.
I believe that, yes.
Everybody expects to lose weight overnight. And listen, it took you a while to gain the weight. You have to change your lifestyle. You can't just crash diet and starve yourself and then expect to stay at that low weight forever. You really need to work at it slowly, and that's why we recommend that people aim for a very modest weight loss, half a pound to a pound a week, and just take it really slowly, even if it takes a year or two. You're doing it, instead of dieting, you're just doing it by changing your lifestyle.
Correct.
And if people do that, they have a higher chance, and this is proven clinically, they have a higher chance to retain their weight loss over time.